I'm going to show you how to export 4K videos in DaVinci Resolve in 2026 in very high quality for YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, your clients, etc. And to save you time, I've actually created a set of free export presets that you can download at the link below that will immediately give you all of these high quality 4K export settings without you needing to dial in everything manually. They even come with instructions showing you exactly how to import them into DaVinci Resolve. So go download them for free below. Now, moving on and opening up DaVinci Resolve and creating a new project like I've done here. As you can see, this project has a 4K at 24 frames per second video that I've imported and edited on the timeline, and this video is ready to export. So to do that, you're going to want to click on the little deliver page down at the bottom, the little rocket ship, and then over here on the left for your render settings for file name, let's call this YouTube video, and then you're going to select a location where you want to save your video so you can find it after it's rendered. Then for format, you're going to want to choose MP4, and for the codec, you're going to want to select H.264. Now, depending on whether you're editing on a Mac or PC, some of your settings are going to look different, but don't worry, we're going to cover both of them here. On a Mac, you're going to see this checkbox that says use hardware acceleration if available, and you're definitely going to want to make sure that this box is checked because Resolve is then going to use your computer's GPU to export the video, and it will export dramatically faster. For resolution, you're going to make sure that it is set to 3840 by 2160 and that your frame rate is 23.976 frames per second, or whatever other frame rate you set your timeline to that you wanted to export your video at. Maybe it's 30 FPS or 60 FPS, etc. For this case, we're using 24 FPS. Next, as the name implies, this quality setting is going to directly affect the quality of your video you're exporting. And if you want the highest quality video, you're going to want to choose restrict to, and you're going to want to type in 50,000 kilobits per second for a 24 or 30 FPS video, or if you're exporting a 60 FPS video, crank it up to 80,000. In this case, we're going to stick with 50,000 though, and this is going to give you a video file that looks the highest quality possible on YouTube while also giving you the smallest file size. So it's really the sweet spot. Incidentally, speaking of the highest quality videos on YouTube, even if you did not film your video in 4K and you filmed it in 1080p HD, for example, I would still recommend using these 4K export settings for basically everything if you are uploading your video to YouTube, because if you upscale your lower resolution video files to 4K and then upload them to YouTube, YouTube is going to use a significantly higher bit rate whenever it's playing your video back, and the quality will be dramatically better than if you had just uploaded in HD. So in short, always upload to YouTube in 4K, and you can also do that for pretty much any other website, either Facebook, Vimeo, etc. Let's talk PC now. You've already set the format to MP4 and the codec to H.264, but you may be seeing different settings depending on the type of graphics card that you have installed on your computer. So you will have an encoder drop-down menu here that may say things like auto or native or Intel QuickSync or NVIDIA. You should be fine leaving this set to auto most of the time, but if you see NVIDIA, I would select that because your GPU will probably render your video the fastest. Next, I would leave your timeline resolution set to 3840 by 2160 and frame rate set to 23.976 frames per second, or whichever frame rate you set your project to and you filmed your video at. Maybe it's 30, maybe it's 60, etc. Then for quality right here, if you have an NVIDIA or AMD graphics card, you should see this quality section here, as well as the option to restrict your quality. And to do that, you're going to want to select restrict to and type in 50,000 kilobits per second if you're exporting a 24 or 30 FPS video. But if your video is 60 FPS, set it to 80,000 kilobits per second. But wait a minute, I don't see this restrict to setting. I don't even see the quality setting here. How do I set my bitrate properly? Well, don't worry, I've got you. If you only see this native encoder option or something like that, then your export settings probably look something like this with a preset and rate control option. For rate control, you're going to want to go down here and select variable bitrate, and then suddenly a bitrate option will appear just like we had with the other settings. So you're going to set this to 50,000 for a 24 or 30 FPS video, or 80,000 for a 60 FPS video, and you are good to go. With that, regardless of whether you're editing on Mac or PC, you can click on this Add to Render Queue Q button down here at the bottom. And then over here on the right, you can select render all, and that will begin to export your video in the highest quality. But do you want to save time? Do you want to avoid having to dial in all these settings in the future? First, you can download my free presets. They'll give you all the settings we just covered, enable you to use them as a preset every single time you export your video. These presets are available for a free download below, or you can actually create your own preset by saving all these settings we just put together as a preset of your own. And to do that, you're going to go up here to the top right to this secret 3-dot menu and select Save as New Preset. And then let's title this YouTube 4K 24 FPS 50 Mbps dash who is Matt. You can even select a cool preset icon. Let's go with the video player here and click save. And then you can select it up here at the top anytime you want to export, which is going to save you from having to go through all these settings. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos about filmmaking and video editing. I will link to a playlist of all these export setting tutorials down in the video description because I make them for all of the platforms today: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And I also have different tutorials for different video editing software too. So if you use Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut, etc., they're all covered on this playlist, all linked for you in the video description. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.